Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Here Be Dragons. I am your host, as always, Stephen Stark, and with me this week, it's just John. Nessie's out there, doing the whole saving people's lives thing, but we'll fortunately have her back next week. But yeah, this week is just me and my internet husband, and
But not the version of me that most people want to see.
right, we're just gonna rip that Band-Aid right off. Yes, John shaved. So, express your dissatisfaction now, but
I'm comfortable, okay?
you're comfortable. And you know what? Honestly, that I prefer you as comfortable. I really do. That's funny, Potter. Yeah. So you might be astonished to learn, not a mother, but I do have a mother. John, are you a mother?
I am not. Sorry, I just got okay, so I'm a movie nerd, so I'm always drawing from movie quotes, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Ghost in the Darkness.
I have. It's been a long time. It's about hunting lions in Africa, right?
Yeah, there's a moment where Michael Douglas's character is saying something about his mother taught me. I don't remember the exact line, and he's like, you don't. The other guy says, I don't believe that you don't, and he says, you don't believe that I something. I can't remember the exact line, but the response is, no, I don't believe that you had a mother.
Okay.
So sorry, that's just flashed me back. That's way more explanation than people wanted starting off, but
no, John, don't fool yourself. This is exactly the kind of thing they come with.
Yeah, movie quotes always circulating in here. Sorry, folks.
Big surprise. But while not a mother yourself, you do in fact have a mother. Yes?
Yes, I do. A great one.
Yeah, me too. Most of you guys know my mother, but I think we're going to hear John talk about his mom a little bit in the end. But the title of this stream is Great and Terrible Mothers in Fiction. So, and I don't want to just go down a list and be like, I think she's a good mom. We'll spend some time thinking about it. But while I was sort of thinking over this myself and having some conversations with our community about it, it occurred to me that the way literature has been approached for so long with the minimization of the role of women in narratives has come to a minimization of mothers in narratives. Not all of them, obviously. There's going to be exceptions to that rule, but I found it far easier when we did the Father's Day one of this last year to come up with.
Well, and it's funny. I think this is sort of a commentary on sort of where our minds go as far as characters in fiction, because actually once I started compiling a list, I realized there's a lot of great characters who are mothers, but my mind doesn't immediately go there. It was actually if I just thought off the top of my head, it was, as you say, harder than the Father's Day stream where you're just kicking them out left and right. So I think that's a thing where I'm kind of mad at myself that I couldn't just think of more right off the bat. But there are some great ones, and
there really are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kick it off with the one we put in a thumbnail, Sarah Connor.
Yeah. I couldn't resist. I went ahead and got some pictures for today. I know we don't normally do pictures for Here Be Dragons, but had to do it, Stephen.
It's quite all right, but what a great place to start. Sarah Connor, what an icon. Look, first of all, look at those arms. I wouldn't want to fight her. I wouldn't want to arm wrestle her.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, this is sort of was the quintessential mother figure in sort of, especially in science fiction. for me at least. I mean, it might be different characters for different people, but yeah, Sarah Connor was a big one. And I watched Terminator 2 about 1 billion times, I think. And yeah, she's just amazing. And to see the journey that she goes on over the course of the 2 films, it's like you barely recognize her in Terminator 2 compared to where she starts in Terminator 1.
Because she's so drastically changed between the 2, but she undergoes that transformation not for herself, but for her child. Like everything she's doing, especially in Terminator 2, is entirely about her motherly instinct to protect her child. Even some of the kind of horrific things that she ends up subjecting her son to, that lifestyle is meant to prepare him for a future she knows is coming that nobody else knows is coming. So like, yeah, I mean, Potter, you're right. which is why we did not title this stream "Only Good Moms Allowed." I mean, there's an argument to be made that she's not great, but like the decision she made, she did out of love for her child.
Yeah, because she knows what's coming. John is told what's coming, but he doesn't necessarily. First of all, he doesn't necessarily believe it for his whole life, and like he hasn't been told by like a messenger from the future, at least before the events of Terminator 2. Like this is what's going to happen. It's more of like an abstract thing for him. So I think the thing about John in Terminator 2 is sort of like most sons, it's like your mom telling you there's something you've got to do, a way you have to be, and you want to rebel against that.
Right. Phil says, obviously we won't discuss Disney cartoons since they tend to lack moms. That's true, but there are still mother figures to be found there, and some of the characters that I want to discuss are not technically mothers themselves, but are motherly towards their sort of the children they've adopted as their,
Yeah, most of the characters that I fished out images for are actual mothers, but there's one in particular that we'll get to who is not a mother, but is a motherly figure for characters in the story. So,
right.
So I definitely agree, Stephen.
Yeah. So yeah, but like Sarah Connor is a great place to start from, because as you said, like she is maybe the most iconic mother figure in modern science fiction, but I think she can get a good run for her money with, I'm going to pop this one up. This lady right here. I mean,
oh my God, does she? Yeah.
And Ellen Ripley, not a mother technically.
Well, I mean, she is. She loses her daughter, and gains like an adopted daughter. Of course, I guess that depends on which version of the film we're talking about. Because in the special edition, it does start off with her hoping to reunite with her daughter Amanda, only to find out that she has passed away in the time that she was asleep. So and that's what's so great about that story is you've got Ripley who's lost a daughter, and Newt who has lost her family, and so it's a story of found family.
Yeah.
And it's not even just limited to the two of them, but also you've got Bishop as well as Michael Bihn's character. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden.
Corporal Hicks.
Yeah. And that's really why I love that film so much. It's that found family element, and like she just does everything in her power to protect Newt, and comes up against another iconic mother.
Yeah,
film, the alien queen.
If you didn't bring it up, I was gonna. So yeah, totally. The alien queen, she protects her children with great ferocity. I don't know what else I can say about the Queen.
Which, by the way, if you want to hear more about that, we did do a retro review of Aliens with our good friend Laura. So go back and check out that stream, because
this Laura right here who screamed yes when we mentioned Ellen Ripley. It was a fun time was had by all. Kolnitsky says Ripley became motherly to xenomorphs too. I mean, that's technically correct.
That might be referencing something that I don't acknowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. If we want to look at the full picture of the series,
it's a heck of a catch by Sean.
Yes. Thank you, Sean, because I actually was thinking about this earlier today. Yeah, just I'm always reminded of that moment near the end of the film where Mother is counting down, and Ripley tries to shut down this destruct sequence, and she's like, "Mother, I turned off the cooling," and the ship goes, "It cannot be deactivated." She just starts banging away at the ship, and it's great. That definitely, the ship definitely qualifies.
Guilty Undertaker says, "Do big sisters forced into the mother role count like Lilo's sister?" I mean, I think so. Your mileage may vary, but I think it counts.
Yeah, I think I think we can, even to a certain degree, I've been thinking about her since I'm going to be talking about the show on over on Amy's channel tomorrow. But Buffy becomes a mother figure of sorts for Dawn after they lose their mother. It's sort of like a mixture of a mother role and continue on with the sister role. But yeah, sorry, Kate, it's happening, and you've just got to deal.
As much as we appreciate the aesthetics of you with a beard, I appreciate you being actually comfortable just a little bit more. So
yeah.
Yeah, so you want to pick the next one? Since I brought up Ripley, let's talk about a different mom. You've got a whole big list in here, my man.
I do. Okay, it's easy to we all know the fandom that we all love, but I want to hold off just a little bit because I really do want to mention this bad mama, Beatrix Kiddo, because even though she's not reunited with her daughter or even aware that her daughter is alive for much of the story, but everything is driven from that, need for revenge. And I mean, do you, I can't remember if we've talked about Kill Bill or not, Steven. Are you a fan of those films?
I mean, let me say, I've seen them both. It's been a long, long time. I remember liking them. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, they're
and I do love the sort of the Kurosawa nod that happens with the, where the body is filled with 140% pressurized blood. That movie has that going on. Yeah, I do like it. It's just been a long, long time, so I can't talk about it with any.
Okay, so we won't go too in depth, but those were the films that got me interested in Tarantino. Especially the first one. That was my introduction to his films, and just I have just memories of sitting in the theater while she walks into I think it's the House of Blue Leaves, I think, and she walks in with the Ennio Morricone music in the background, like she's freaking Godzilla, just killing everything in her path. Such a great character, and the fact that then that she Uma Thurman's performance can flip to where at the end of the second film she can just instantly switch into being having such a motherly presence after being this avenging angel throughout the film, and the fact that the movies end with her, like, it's a mixture of her sobbing over Bill's death. Spoiler alert: the movies are called Kill Bill, and then morphs into this sort of giggling of happiness to be reunited with her daughter. And then the movie ends with just the shot of her like grinning ear to ear next to her daughter, watching like Saturday morning cartoons. I just think that's so great. And definitely one of my favorite mothers in fiction. So yeah, I guess that's about all
Okay. I mean, again, I can't speak with any authority about those films, but I do remember liking them. So unfortunately, can't really speak to Beatrix Kiddo's motherly instincts that much. Is there anything else you wanted to say about her?
No, because I feel like there's other characters that we're gonna share more common ground with, so we can dig deep into those.
You mean like this one?
Oh my God, who is this? Is this a story that we're familiar with?
I think most of us are at least passingly familiar with it.
And she's so motherly. Look at her.
Well, the thing is, she does have that in her. She really does. But she's got such selfishness tied up in her too, that her motherly love can become quite toxic for her children.
Yeah. I'm just like, I can't help it. I have to like go down this path just for a second and say, like, this is, this is a Mother's Day. So I'm gonna actually keep try to keep the thirst at a minimum. But like Lena Headey just kept getting more and more beautiful as the show went on, and this was one of my favorite looks for her, and kudos to the costume department and the hair and makeup and everything. Just they did such a great job with Cersei, and Lena Headey is phenomenal. What a performance!
Yeah, what an icon.
Yeah. It's funny, and somebody just brought up Catelyn in the chat. It's funny because for a while, I actually, before the casting came out, Lena Headey was like my pick for Catelyn for a while. Just having seen her in, going back to Sarah Connor, having seen her in Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Right.
But I can't imagine anybody else as Cersei.
I mean, I can imagine it, but it's not as good.
Yeah. And yeah, just the way that she interacts with her children, and like she's such a bad influence on Joffrey, and then eventually she realizes that he's out of her control. That moment is sort of chilling, and at the beginning of season 2, when she's trying to tell him what to do, and he's very clearly, like he has no respect for her whatsoever.
Yeah.
And she sees that.
But the thing is, he has no respect, and a lot of that is her failings as a mother. I mean, a lot of it is Robert's failings as a father as well, but like, yeah, you got to teach your children boundaries and stuff, and she never did that.
Oh no, she did not. The advice that she gives Joffrey in season 1 about like getting married and what he's allowed to do, after he gets married, is like, that is not the advice a mother should be passing along to her son.
Yeah, I know Robert isn't the father, Phil, but like he was the one who was supposed to be the father figure.
Yeah, I mean, Robert was Joffrey's father in sort of, just not biologically, but sort of in every other sense. Joffrey looked to Robert as like, he actually, was trying to, look to him to see what kind of, king he might be, or, comparing himself in contrast to Robert. And yeah, for all intents and purposes, from Joffrey's point of view, that's his dad.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I agree, Cass. Biology only means so much. Because what it really matters is how Joffrey saw him, and also how everyone around saw that relationship between Joffrey and Robert. I'm sure we'll get there. Kelly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jaded. We'll get there shortly.
And that's spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, I know. And I'm so happy. At least it's not Jaded Redhead, which is the worst, if you ask me.
Yeah. Sorry, Kelly. For the longest time, I really did think it was Jaded Redhead.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. We've covered that ground plenty.
But yeah, she is not the only mother in Game of Thrones. Let's go into Catelyn. And yeah, y'all, I picked a red wedding picture. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, you did. But one of the better mothers in the series. Not perfect, but one of the better mothers. Genuinely cares about her children.
Yeah. I'm just always gonna hold. I know it's not completely her fault, the way she feels about John. And Ned had some failings there as far as what he should have trusted her with, but she's just so cruel to John.
Yeah, I mean that's correct. She is, but I mean,
but she is. But I do agree with you. She is
for her children. She is a very good mother.
Yeah.
I just wish that she had been a good surrogate mother as well.
Yeah, I do, and I want to comment on Michelle Fairley because, as I said, I had my own ideas for who should be cast, or or the appearance I wanted for certain characters, and they did age all the characters up in the show, whether it's the kids or Ned, Cersei, Jaime, and Catelyn. All the characters are aged up a bit from the books. So Michelle Fairley was not my mental image for Catelyn, but she so quickly just owned that role, and I think she's absolutely incredible in the part. I really love her dynamic with Robb, and the way that her and Richard Madden play off each other. And she just breaks my heart in Reigns of Castamere. I almost put up the picture of her crying out, after Robb's kill, but it was too much. I'm not going to do that to everybody today, but the anguish in her performance, and she loses everything, and especially since she believes she's lost everything, because at that point she believes a lot more of her children are dead than actually are.
And you're dead at that point.
Yeah, and the way that episode ends with no music over the credits, and it just, I'll never forget that. And but she has so many great moments throughout the series. Just I could list them all off. Her conversations with Jaime, Brienne, it's Ned. I love those moments between her and Sean Bean in season 1. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she is not the best, but she is one of the better mothers. And again, Alan, you may not have been here when we said this, but we all agree that, except with John, To her own children, she was quite good.
And a lot of people did not like that scene in season 3 where she talks about John, because it does go against, like, she never expresses any such sentiments in the book. But, everybody knows my stance on that. Book and show are very different things.
Yep, let them live in their own world.
And so I loved getting that moment from Catelyn, some recognition that she hadn't been fair or kind to John. And
not that it did anything to change anything. But, but I agree. Like, it does humanize her a little more.
Yeah. And of course you got, like, let's see how many times I'm going to mention music today. But Ramin's score for that scene is just so heart-achingly beautiful and tugs at the heartstrings, definitely.
Oh, Tish, believe me, I really love me some flawed characters as well. And if I'm reading your comment correctly, you're a mom, so happy Mother's Day. Glad you could join us. And this is worth celebrating. Getting your vaccine tomorrow. Congratulations.
Congrats, Alan. Yeah.
John and I both have had both of ours. We're both in the waiting period, so we can finally get together and hold hands soon.
Yeah, I'm first of all, I'm just counting down the days now until I can go for a trip up to the bookstore, which, I haven't done that since this whole thing began. And I'll probably head over to Best Buy too, of course, because, I me, got to be browsing the movie section. Yeah, I'm so excited for that and so pumped to see friends and, meet a lot of you guys for the first time, finally.
Finally. Sorry, a little bit inside joke for the here. But yeah, I guess we can move on from Cat if you got somebody else we want to talk about. I mean, you've got several on the list that are from Game of Thrones, but I think I want to change gears. Because, well, let's talk about a mother who's not a mother, shall we? How
yes.
about Aunt May?
Well, like, yeah, she's not mother to Peter.
She's not a mother. She's not technically a mother.
But she has been a mother. Like, but yeah, she is a mother figure to Peter. And yeah, and I don't know if you detect my slight dig at a certain division of Marvel with my picture selection, Stephen.
You're fine, John.
All in good fun.
I prefer Marissa Tomei May, but
like, and I think this is sort of the quintessential, like, comic, idea of Aunt May, and certainly the one that I grew up with watching these films, and a similar idea for the character in the animated series, which I grew up watching. Yeah, she plays a very important part in Peter's life, especially after Uncle Ben dies. And there's a moment between the two of them in Spider-Man 2 where Peter confesses the role he played in Ben's death, and it's so hard to watch and so tough. And her response to it is so real. I just remember watching that. It's, one of those very uncomfortable moments, and you're like, this is great to see in a comic book film.
Yeah, I'm gonna send. Hold on. We might be inviting somebody onto the stream. Let me see if we can get this to work. John, talk. You got to fill that dead air, man.
Oh, do we? Well, okay. No, I will go ahead and mention another character who is not a mother, but I feel like she is a mother to all of the characters in the show, which is Laura Roslin from Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm. She was definitely a mother to that whole show.
Yeah, and on a more sort of micro level, she's also a mother figure to both Lee and Kara in that show, but very much to the entire fleet, and Adama is like the father, and which, by the way, I like. Their love story is like the best part of that whole show. I absolutely love the two of them. The characters are played by Edward James Olmos and Mary McDonnell, and they are absolutely stunning together. I was crying like a baby in the finale. If any of you have not seen this series, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, you absolutely must watch it. Stephen and I have a disagreement on this one, but I still hold it to be the best science fiction series ever made.
Yeah, we do disagree on that. I think it's only one of the best.
Okay.
Like, it's good. There's no doubt about it. I was not in love with the ending, but like, it's still really good the whole way through.
Yeah, I hope the ending of The Expanse pleases you.
I do too. What else can I say other than I hope so too?
Yeah.
Also, my mom is in the chat. Hi, Mom. Nice to see you. Hi,
Betsy.
We had a pretty nice Mother's Day. My cousins and my cousin. So I have my two cousins and his wife, my male cousin's wife, all came over. Played some board games, ate some Chinese food. It was very nice.
You deserve them all, Betsy. And just, you're an amazing person. You have raised an amazing son, and I could not be more grateful for you gifting me with my very best friend. So.
Oh man, thanks, John. That's very sweet of you to say. You're also infinitely patient to have not murdered me in the last 40-odd years, 46 years. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So just wanted to say hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I know I told you face to face, but
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say clearly I don't agree with Stephen on that point. I actually think the end of Battlestar is phenomenal, but that's another one of those shows that had a very mixed reception,
right,
for the ending. So I get it.
Right, like we can disagree. We've been able to do it in the past. I think our marriage will survive another disagreement.
But yeah. So
Mom, what? Hold on. That's just too funny not to put on the screen. Apparently, when I was conceived, Mom was thinking about you, buddy. That is the creepiest thing you have ever said. Like, ever said, Mom.
I really don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, I do. I'm horrified. Anyway. But it was funny. Very funny.
Yeah, so do you have any...
Going off the rails rapidly.
Yeah, let's hop back over to you. What's another of your choices?
All right, I'm going to bring up one that's not on your list, so there's no picture for it. But are you ready for this?
I am.
Morticia Addams.
Oh my God! Yeah.
What a fantastic mother she ends up being. Like, she cares so deeply for her children. She's always positively reinforcing them, never telling them what they can't do. Like, maybe, even if that thing is like electrocuting your brother, but, you know, uh, Morticia, I agreed. Morticia is wonderful. And I watched the old reruns of the old TV show when I was growing up, but like for me, it's always going to be Angelica Houston in those films. She was so great. Um, I love her portrayal. Like, yeah, so they're creepy, they're kooky, mysterious, and spooky, but like she loves her children deeply and is such a positive force in their lives. I think she's a fantastic mother.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually just rewatched the film. We did a watch party in the Slack, and it was the first time I'd seen the movie in years, and um, and like I was really struck by how much more like I noticed the presence of Morticia in the story and Angelica Houston's performance. Like she is just amazing, and yeah, it's a great character, great mother in a very weird, dysfunctional family.
Right. I think they're not even a dysfunctional family. I think
No, they're not dysfunctional. You're right. Actually, they're all remarkably in sync.
yeah, they're very well adjusted to each other.
Yeah.
Just not to the world in general that we live in. I wanted to say hi. Danny McKay popped in late.
Hey,
Sorry,
Danny.
you say sorry I'm late, but it has been noted in your permanent record. So I will hold it against you later.
Danny is never late. He arrives exactly when he means to.
Right. Okay. Danny, you're officially been promoted to wizard. Oh, this is a good point. The Adams gave their children one of the greatest gifts ever, which is their love for each other and thereby for their children. They showed their children what a healthy romantic relationship looks like as well, which is part of being a good parent to your children is setting those types of expectations and ideals for them. And Gomez is also a great father for all the same reasons, but we're talking about mothers. So yeah.
I really want to find the the line of Gomez's that that I love about Morticia, because I know the gist of it. I just because it's such a great one. Hold on a second. I'm pulling it up now. Okay. Look at her. I would die for her. I would kill for her. Either way, what bliss.
Right.
Yeah. See, now I'm going to want to watch the movie again.
Yeah, I kind of want to too. I'm sitting here going, do I want to go? It's a good movie. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's got a young Christina Ricci in it, who I've loved since I first saw her. So I might end up watching it. Although I'm not going to be able to watch it. I've got a lot of episodes of Clone Wars to cram this week. But yeah. Oh, hello, Kate M. Welcome. Got two Kates. I'm going to sharpen up a stick and then throw it into between the two of you, and only one Kate may stand. Like, who was that? Heath Ledger's Joker does that. Anyway.
I will say, side note, I actually didn't know that we were already doing. Are we doing the next Clone Wars next week then?
Yes, we are.
Okay, because we don't have a schedule at this point.
Right. I have a schedule in the old noggin right now, but you're right. I need to update the actual digital one that we use.
I updated it and left a whole bunch of empty spaces between this week and Loki in June.
Yeah.
So.
We're going to fill it with whatever we can. I'm going to say goodnight to Matthew. Good night, Matthew. Thanks for staying up with us as late as you have. I know you're in Europe. I want to say you're French. I know you're in Europe, so get some rest, my friend, and hopefully we'll see you next week. better rested. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the difference, Kelly, is that like I'm a permanent co-host on here, so like it's fine for me. What I do to you is much worse.
Right.
Because I just spring appearances on you. It's like, yeah, Kelly's going to be on this week.
Yeah, Kelly's going to be on next week on Here Be Dragons as well. She's not. I just wanted to say that and freak her out for a hot second. Shall we talk about moms again? You want to pick a good mom or maybe a really bad one?
Oh God, there is a really bad one, but you haven't seen the show, so I'm not going to dive into that
Well,
one.
you could still bring it up.
Yeah, like it is too bad that Nessie's not here, because her and I could go on and on about Atia of the Julii from Rome. Oh my God, is she a terrible mother? Like, she's a great character, but she's a terrible mother. And I always say Rome was like the proto, like, Game of Thrones for HBO. And like Atia was definitely the Cersei of that series.
Okay.
She is like very self-centered and manipulative and always like moving pieces around to her advantage, even her children. And yeah, she's just like, she's this character that you love to hate, and you want to see her come out on top, but at the same time you're like, oh God, she's the worst. And she's like, not always like, there's characters who go up against her that are like justified in their hatred of her, but then you are like, you're not on their side because they're going up against Atia, and Polly Walker does such a phenomenal job playing her that you're like, no, I just want to see her lay waste to all her enemies. So yeah, since you haven't seen the show, we can't have much of a discussion, but I did want to mention her because she is one of like the all-time great baddies that you love to hate. And like the way she treats her children is just appalling. Both Octavian and Octavia, she uses them at different turns for her own means. And yet you get the sense that she really does love her children. It's so weird. She has some very twisted relationships throughout the show, and yeah, I'd say she's probably my number one reason for why I keep going back to that show. As great as the other actors in that show are, like Kevin McKidd and Ray Stevenson and Kieran Hines as Julius Caesar, and especially why can't I remember his name? I love the actor. He plays Mark Antony. James Purefoy. Great show. So if you guys haven't caught it, check it out. It's not that long. It only ran for 2 seasons. But yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen Rome, I still haven't. I'm probably not going to get to it anytime soon. But if you do, you can then go watch old John Webster film discussions about Rome.
Yeah, which I did with Nessie. We covered both seasons. I remember that because I started off with that Tolkien stream, and Nessie was like, "So you didn't invite me on to talk Tolkien," and and so my very next stream, it was like my second or third episode. I said, "Come on, Nessie, we're going to talk about Rome," and we had an absolute blast. So yeah. So go ahead, your turn, Stephen.
My turn. Well, there's a really good list of moms here to choose from, and I'm really glad that you went so far as to like pull pictures for so many of them. You know what? I'm just going to do it. You ready?
Yeah.
There she is. Now, a mother, not just to Ben Solo, but in some ways also to Rey, and in some ways to the entire rebellion.
Yeah. And I just want to take this moment. Like, I got 2 pictures for Leia in both the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy because I just like look at it, like doing almost the same thing all those years apart. This little gesture with the fist, and it's I just love it. Like those sort of, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional for her to call back to some of those things, or if it was just sort of in an innate part of the performance. But yeah, God, Carrie Fisher was so great. And I really wanted to include a Last Jedi picture because she is so great in that film.
Yeah.
And it will always break my heart that we didn't get to see her close out that trilogy. And they did what they could, and we don't need to have a discussion about Rise of Skywalker, but like for me, like what she did in The Last Jedi was just absolutely phenomenal. And but yeah, I love her across the original trilogy as well. Yeah, she's just so great.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm typing a response to somebody in the chat. Just assuring them that we don't kill people for not having seen Star Wars.
Well, you don't.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm with you, Sean. Gonna make you cry thinking about her at work. Like I can still get emotionally worked up. Beth, you don't see a DM from me. When you go onto Slack, go to where you see the channels and everything, and scroll all the way down to the bottom and see if there's one there. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your like? We can go ahead and spend some time on Leia. Like, what are some of your favorite moments?
My favorite Leia moments.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like it's the paralleled, and they're both scenes with Harrison Ford in the original. The "I love you, I know," and the way, but like the Return of the Jedi one is just so much juicier because of the way that she's flipped it on its head at that point. But just her and her sort of the cocky delivery of "I know," like so good. Oh man, there's bound to be more. How about you? You got one off the top of your head? Somebody got to save our skins.
Yeah. It's so funny because like when I think of the original Star Wars, it's easier for me to think of like great moments from like The Last Jedi because the original trilogy is like so ingrained in my head that it's like every moment is a classic moment.
Sure.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess from the original, just like stuff like aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper, and it just the way she takes charge and somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way, and it just I mean, yeah, she's just great, but she's really great in Empire. I love the banter back and forth between her and Han Solo throughout it. Don't have time to discuss this with a committee. I am not a committee. Which, by the way, hats off to first and foremost her delivery on a lot of that stuff, but Irvin Kershner for really injecting a lot of like natural humor into that film. This isn't Leia related, but there's another moment in that film when Han is like trying to repair the ship and they get hit by an asteroid and the pan with the tools just like falls on his head and you just hear him screaming. That's just such great again, like natural humor. It's just coming organically. And then so a lot of that stuff with yeah.
Hold on. Somebody has joined the stream. Hello, Fierce Mama Bear, aka this is Sunflower Beth. For those of you that don't know, she's been in the chat, but
how you doing, Beth?
That is false advertising. You are only the second greatest mom. My mom wins first place. So okay. You are the greatest mom on this stream right now, though. I'll give you that. Hi, Beth. How you doing?
I'm good, but I hear John's still talking and he's not talking. So what's the deal?
Are you serious? You might be experiencing a little bit of lag. So how far behind are you from me right now? Can you hear?
I'm on you.
But you're still hearing John?
Yeah.
That's extremely weird. Do you have your?
Well, then just kick him out. I'm kidding.
So Beth,
I'm kidding.
We're almost to the midpoint, but welcome to the stream. Is there a fictional mother that you just really got to make sure we talk about? Somebody we haven't talked about yet?
For me,
oh, she got notes.
It's really hard when John's still talking, but I actually want to bring to the table the story of adoption.
Okay.
Because I think that as a fierce mama bear that had to learn on my own, I think that just the idea of adoption is beautiful. And there are so many stories that end beautifully. Are you live, John? Talk.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? You're not talking background nonsense. It's not nonsense, but
well,
yeah, it's the typical level of nonsense that we have here. So is there an adoptive mother that you wanted to point out as being like one of your favorites?
Thank you.
Beth, I think we might be having some serious lag issues with you because you're getting
okay. Now I'm getting serious lag from you, Stephen.
You might need to restart your device and come back. Why don't you try that? And we'll do the mid roll, and then we'll have you back as soon as you can get as soon as you try that. Okay. See you in a minute. All right. So hopefully we'll get that sorted out. Anyway, it's a little bit early, but let's just go ahead and do the mid roll, right?
Yeah, and we'll do the usual stuff, and then I want to take some time just to gush about my own mom, since it'd be great if she could actually come on here, but because of her health issues and stuff, that's not possible. So I'm going to tell you all how great she is.
Right. Okay, so we're just going to say this is the mid roll. This is the part where I say, oh yeah, please hit the like, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Let's feed the overlords of YouTube real quick. We also need to make sure we thank our patrons. Our Patreon High Council consists of Lord John Bronsteen the Wise, Sixto Sounds, aka JP the Axe Grinder, and of course, ridiculous Ed Tollett, our alpha patron. We love you, Sean. I know you're about to get off work. Be careful on the drive home. And they are, of course, backed up by the lords and ladies of the realm, including Lady Leaf Underhill, Aemy Blackfyre, lover of Poles, Ryan Stavka, the Russian quartermaster, and Reflective Rambling. So many thanks to all of our patrons. You guys help keep the lights on. If you want to be a patron, link is down in the description. Next week, Clone Wars Season 4. Get your binge. You've got 1 week to binge the whole series. I've got it planned out. I got to watch 6 tomorrow and then 2 a night and then 6 on Sunday morning to finish it out. But I've got it all scheduled out exactly what I'm going to do. I got to binge at least 6 episodes tomorrow though, because I haven't watched any of Season 4 yet. But yeah, I think it's a lot better for me to be doing that now rather than say 4 months from now, because it's a lot fresher in my mind. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I'm going to pop Beth back in, but John, what's coming up on yours, in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, so we just did last night. We premiered our episode about X2 X-Men United, which was a whole lot of fun. Like I just had a great time like sharing that with all you guys because Aemy, Kelly, and Jenna and I had such a blast doing that. It was a real fun, goofy time. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and you can either check out the video or listen to the podcast. Which, by the way, we're on. You can find us pretty much everywhere now. So please go on to check us out on Apple, especially, and leave a 5-star review. There's a glitch; you're not able to leave anything less than 5 stars. I apologize for that. It's just the way it is. So please go ahead and do that. Yeah, and Jenna does not want to be contacted. She has no Twitter information, or anything. So please just leave her alone. But next week we're going to be talking about The Little Mermaid, and we're going to be joined by Bronte, Bronsteris, and Kate.
Also, Lord John Bronsteen the Wise.
Yeah, which is great because I haven't had him on since. He was on with Aemy before she was co-host to do a discussion on the film Little Women, which we had a great time. So it'd be great to have him back. And yeah, and it's just going to be a blast. It's going to be Disney Mania because we're all going to be doing that. And then the week after that, we're celebrating Amy's birthday by doing a stream on Mulan, which is like one of her favorite movies of all time. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right on. And there will be bingo cards available. We did play J Wolf Bingo yesterday. It was so much fun. I'm going to show you my bingo card because I actually screenshotted it so I could get to it easier. But since it was for, I don't know if you're going to be able to see any of that. Okay, yeah.
I love that it's actually J Wolf Bingo.
J Wolf Bingo. But we're just waiting for these various things to get mentioned before you can oh great. Oh no. Good camera. Thank you.
I do want to say I love you guys so much because when we switched over to pre-recording so we could start doing it as a podcast, I actually did not know who would still show up in the chat for the premieres because admittedly there's a different kind of interaction when when you're live and you're having a discussion and then you're talking with the chat and everything. But man, you guys have been coming out in droves each week, and now you've turned it into a bingo game and everything. You guys are my family. Well, I love you all so much.
There's a thing to be said about the the live stream format. We get to engage with the chat. You can't engage with the chat, so Potter found a really excellent way. Thank you, Potter, very much. But found a really excellent way to give us something else to engage with just in commenting on what's being spoken about. It was a lot of fun. trying to get a pre-recorded podcast to say the things you want to say so you can get a bingo. It's good stuff. Anything else we need to make sure we talk about?
No, but I'm curious if Beth is in sync with us now.
I'm totally in sync.
Good.
Yeah, it seems like you are.
Yeah.
Totally in sync. That was really weird. It's enough being on your own phone and hearing your own voice, but then you're trying to talk to Steven, and I'm like, kick this John dude to the curb because he is really messing with my life.
Okay, there we go. He's gone now.
Bye. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, Beth. I'm never going to give up my man.
And you shouldn't. He's a keeper.
Yeah, he really is.
I do want to take this time to before we get back into this discussion about fictional moms to talk about my mom because I wish to God I could bring her on to talk. Like a couple of years ago, you guys would have had an absolute ball just getting to know her, and she would have embarrassed the heck out of me. But yeah, I actually was able to just very quickly find a couple pictures. This is us from back in 2009 when we went to New York. There she is. Back when John still had, full head of hair.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that is your mom, all right, though. Like
Yeah.
the visual similarity is definitely noticeable.
Yeah, and this actually when we were in New York for the live concert of the Fellowship of the Ring score. So like I got a lot of great memories from that weekend. And another family picture right here is like much further back when me and my mom and dad went on a cruise ship. And so here we are. You can't really see, but I have braces in that picture. So it was quite a long while back, but yeah. And then here's just another one in front of one of our houses. But yeah, I love my mom. She's honestly been my hero ever since since I can remember. Unfortunately, she's had a lot of health problems in her life going back to, she had a heart attack, I think around 92 or 93. And she went through a lot of years with problems with that. She finally got a transplant in, I want to say 2006. And then she also had, please, Aemy, don't. No.
Not too.
No, I can't handle that. I really can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But isn't that an indirect compliment to you, John?
Yeah, I mean, by extension, doesn't that mean you're hot?
I don't know, but like I'm sorry. Even if that's the case, it's yeah. Okay, there you go.
Jeff, you bring up a solid point. Anyway.
But like, yeah. So she's had a lot of health problems because she also had suffered from breast cancer for a little while, and yeah, and now of course, unfortunately, she's suffering from some memory issues. But like, she has been my best buddy since I can remember, and she was also my movie going buddy for growing up. Like I went to go see everything with her, and yeah, it's just she's great. And with everything that she's had to face with her health, she has been so resilient. Like the number of things that she had to go through, because she actually had to be taken off the heart transplant list when she got breast cancer, and then had to wait to resolve that before she could get put back on. And like the patience that takes, and the willpower, she's just like, she's unlike anybody I've ever known. And she is the sweetest person in the world. She was that mom that, like, when I was little and we had friends over, when I had my friends over to, like, swim in the pool, she'd bring out, like, she'd cook up, one of those, like, pizzas that you'd, pick up at the grocery store, and she'd bring it out for everybody to eat. And yeah, she's just the best mother you could ask for. And I was always able to go to her and tell her what I was feeling. I think a big part of myself that I've talked about is sort of how openly emotional I think I am. And a lot of that is down to, I think, always feeling comfortable going to my mother and telling her what was, going on in my head, and not feeling like I had to bottle that stuff up. So,
right. One thing I want to make sure I mention, because I'm not going to let it pass by, Aemy does point out she will be having John and others on her channel tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern to talk about shows from their teen years. It will be her birthday month edition of Buddy Banter. So please go check out Aemy Blackfyre's stuff mañana. I'll be there in the chat for sure. Beth, hi. We got you all synced up. John, I don't want to necessarily cut off you talking about your mother, and feel free to circle back. But Beth,
That's fine. But I just do want to. I have to throw up like since since I'm showing like older pictures, I could not pass up pulling out a picture of myself as a little baby. So here y'all go. Here's little John.
Look at that. You look at them. Look at your little cheeks.
But yeah, okay.
That's a full sweater combo too. That's a full knit situation. Was that a mom-made situation?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's always been the one like coordinating like photos being taken and pictures. Yeah. It's like when I was younger, it was always like everywhere we went, it was like, wait, stop, we gotta take a picture.
I have a picture which I thought I have a memory which I thought I hated all my adult life, but I look at myself in the picture now. I wish I had it, but my mother, I don't know if the people that are old enough to remember the Cabbage Patch craze that was like circa 1980 something, where if you couldn't get the Cabbage Patch doll for your kid, you were like toast as a mom. Well, my mom sewed, and very well. So cringy, but apparently I loved it. She dressed me up in an outfit, handmade me a Cabbage Patch doll, and then made an outfit that matched myself with the Cabbage Patch doll. So yes, I owned a handmade Cabbage Patch doll that I completely matched, which again, in adult life, I think, who would do that? What wretched person would do that? And then I see pictures and I'm living for my matching dolls. So that's my mother coordinated everything too, made everything well beyond needing to make things years and all. But yes, I can relate to a full ensemble.
Right on.
With love.
That's just mom doing what moms do with the skill, like the skills she had, and she wanted her baby to have the best that she could supply you with, and I think that's awesome. And I do remember the Cabbage Patch craze. I know we are roughly the same age. I think I'm a couple of years older than you, but roughly the same age. So yeah, I'm right there with you. And I will also say this, like, it's been a year, but last Mother's Day, I Know That Nerd with my actual mom, who is Betsy, mother of Starks, here in the chat every weekend. If you haven't seen that one, I know both of you were in the probably in the chat section for that, but go check that out. Go, like, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of this. My mom is great. You all know that. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time gushing on mom. I did that for a whole 2 hours, and that's still public. So if you want to see me really gush about my mom, go check that out. It's from exactly 1 year ago.
It so cracks me up. On the stream the other yesterday, I was like, yeah, we're going to have a Mother's Day stream. Steven's going to go on, we're going to talk about fictional mother. Steven's probably going to go on about Avasarala, who, we're still going to get to. And I'm going to talk about my mom. It made it sound like Steven was just leaving his mom out in the cold and in favor of fictional characters. But like, Steven's mom, of course, is wonderful. And if you haven't seen that chat with the two of them, go watch it. It's absolutely awesome. Phenomenal. It's great. I was actually gonna hold off on these other two embarrassing pictures of me as a younger kid, but I gotta go. So here's me and my dad.
I imagine mom's taking the picture.
Yeah. And this is one that I'm never gonna live down. I guarantee you somebody's gonna screenshot this, but yeah, this is me for, I guess, a birthday. Apparently dressed up as Superman.
Oh, sweet. Dude, underwear on the outside and everything.
Yep.
And that's a 13. Somehow I doubt you're 13 years old in that picture. You might be 4.
No, I'm gonna go 6.
Yeah. But yeah, I got great memories of running around as Superman.
No.
Stop it, Amy. Stop it. This is not funny, okay? Just stop it.
How do I share a picture?
OTDA is right. Old Pepsi can. I'm going to remove the... Yep. Look at that old Pepsi can.
Okay, that's long enough.
I can't stop looking at the underwear. I know that's odd, but I'm sorry. It's
the best part of the picture is the underwear, really.
Yeah.
The underwear's on the outside.
It's like apparently I didn't have a pair of like solid red underwear, so I had to make do.
Look, when you're a kid, close enough is good enough, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do I share a picture?
We have to
upload them. But if you send one to me, I can load it up. If you just like DM it to me on Slack, I can pull it over.
Oh, I'm still on Slack.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure the best way to take. Okay, she'll be back. Yeah, she just straight up dropped. But I'm going to. The best part of any picture is the underwear. If there's underwear in the picture, you're probably right. It probably is the best part. Underoos.
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that to you, but like maybe once in a blue moon. Mom's got a good point. Your mom had to think your dad was a hottie. All right, you know what though? We'll get with Beth again as soon as she comes back. But until then, shall we just? You can talk more about your mom, or we can talk about one of these. Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, it's funny, like, and on the obviously there was I told you guys she was my movie buddy, and props to her because she went to go see everything regardless of, like, I'm sure there was some stuff she didn't enjoy, like
that's part of being a good mom.
Although I will say
anyway.
Although I will say that both my parents like dodged the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie by enlisting my my cousin Marianne. My camera just went out. Give me a second. But
I also feel like you're masquerading as me right now.
I think he's going to find some underoos.
Maybe. Hey, you know what? Cass has got a great question. What's your mom's favorite movie?
So it's probably a tie between Gone with the Wind and Meet Joe Black.
Okay.
Because she, of course, is in love with Brad Pitt. So, but
so obsession runs in the family. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as bad for her. So, although, like, I do have her to thank for like giving me the excuse to like start the Kira craze, because I used her birthday as the excuse for why we went to go see Pride and Prejudice, and that's where it all started. So, so yeah. But and then as far as Lord of the Rings goes, she really didn't enjoy the movies, but I like got her to read The Hobbit first because I wanted to see if I could pique her interest with that, and she loved reading The Hobbit. And then I made the really bad decision of, like, since she had read that and the movies weren't coming out yet, I actually started to turn on the Ralph Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings, and she was rightfully like, this isn't really good, John. So, but thankfully, then I dialed back on it a bit, and thankfully, when she went to go see Fellowship of the Ring, she was like, "Oh my God, it's just like in The Hobbit, Gandalf riding in his cart, and all that." She loved the movies, so I think she was the one who sort of indulged my Lord of the Rings obsession more than my dad. I love my dad; he's great, but he was always like, "Enough's enough, isn't it, John?"
And John was like, no.
And Beth was like, I concur, but just a tiny bit.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I love her to death. Like that I think that's why going to the movies was always such a special experience for me, because it was always with her. And Jesus, Peadar, don't.
It's never.
Don't encourage it.
It's never going to pass. I mean, it's a thing. It's part of our zeitgeist now. It's part of the larger canon. HBD legend.
But yeah, and I'm trying to think of like other like I wanted to pull out like another movie that she loves, just she does, and
well,
I have an idea. I don't know, but if I think of something, I'll say it later. But I mean, her and I have always kind of been in sync with movies for the most part. Just probably less so when I was a little kid, because as kids, our taste is mostly crap. So
right. But yeah, thank you, Aemy, and I think we're both pretty proudly members of that club.
Yeah, I mean, it's and that's one of the great, like, I'm always it seems like I'm always looking for an excuse to praise like all of you guys to high heaven, but like I don't feel like any hesitation in just saying to all of you, yep, total mama's boy, proud of it.
So. Right. Well, Beth, you're here. We haven't heard a whole lot from you, and wanted to have you come, when you said something and I noticed it and we got you on. Why don't you talk about some of your favorite either mothers from fiction, even if you want to cover some of them that we've already talked about.
This.
Or, your experiences as a mother, because you're, in our HBD fam, there are very few mothers. It's not zero, but you are one of the very few. And so, like, I would be very proud to have you talk about either your experience or like the mothers that inspired you from stories. And I'm also going to go off camera for just a moment, but I'm listening to everything.
Okay, do you have that picture?
You sent me a picture. Hold on. Let me double check.
It's a weird picture from Facebook because I'm still in search of my real mother.
Okay, I got you.
And that's the best picture I have that is the only infant, baby, mom, dad pictures that I possess. And it came up as a memory today, oddly. Or I guess it's not oddly, maybe on past Mother's Day. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
John, you're in control.
That's my parents on the bottom. And then on the top is me and my sister. I'm the baby. And then the only family picture that I own is the one with the four of us. So my dad, longest story short, my father died when I was 2. And I guess as I got older, I always knew that. So I wasn't searching for him per se. We don't need the picture anymore whenever you want to. But I always knew that my mother was still alive. And I have been looking for my birth family since Yellow Pages, since long distance Yellow Pages, since I heard that I lived in this place before. I'm going to call, what was it, 011 or 003 or something, and ask for Arkansas white pages, and you would get somebody and they would look through the white pages for you and tell you yes or no. And then it's come and gone. And then so I raised my daughter for 6 years, not having a birth family. So of course my number one mom story that doesn't involve a mom, they're all adoption stories, and guess what? They're all Disney. The number one would be, of course, Lilo and Stitch, because who doesn't want to adopt the untamed, kind of crazy little like dog-esque character? And then, of course, Ohana. If we don't know what Ohana from Lilo and Stitch means, it is Ohana means family. Why did I just blank on it? Ohana means family. What is my problem? I should have worn the other t-shirt. Never forgotten. I can't recall of it now. My mind went blank. But and then of course my other one is Finding Dory. But back to the story. When I grew up with no family and my daughter knew it, and then when she was about 6, I typed in my father's name, Larry Kenneth Helvey, whom I knew had passed away, so I don't know what I was shooting for, and popped up a virtual gravesite. So people volunteer their time going around clicking grave sites and then putting them on virtual places that you can commemorate them, leave them virtual flowers, drop a message. And it required that I drop my email. So I dropped my email. I left him, of course, sunflowers. I bet that surprises all of y'all. And then I got an email from someone that says, I am your dad's sister. Oh my gosh, like an elephant to the chest. Because in the 80s, adoptions were closed, locked up tight. They blacked out all the names. They wouldn't share information, and so I found an aunt. She ended up being from we all have crazies, right? She ended up being from the crazy side, and I didn't develop a relationship with her, but I did with many of my other families, which is the reason I'm still on Facebook, and the only reason I got on Facebook. Ended up going to Arkansas because apparently I'm mountain folk, and I am Irish and Native American, Cherokee. What? Like, I figured myself to just be like a white European, like, right? And I flew out there. I've got major social anxiety, total anxiety, claustrophobic of airplanes. Don't go anywhere without my husband because I need help with lots of things. But I took the trip all by myself. They threw me a fantastic hot dog barbecue at a park, and I had a giant family reunion, and met my brother's family. So I know a lot of them now, and that's wonderful. In fact, at the time, my little girl said, Mama, you went from have no family tree to have family forest. And I loved her saying that. And so the first half of my child's life was no family. Then it was all of a sudden, oh my gosh, this thing. And of course, we already been obsessed with Stitch, Annie, Finding Dory. I mean, Dory is my kindred spirit. Let's be real. And what other ones did I write down? Of course, Elsa's mom. I mean, come on, your kid gets kidnapped and you light lanterns for her for life. I mean, and then the mom on Tarzan, the gorilla is really fabulous. Makes me happy. So none of my stories are quintessential. My mom was fabulous, and this was all rosy and great, ergo the bright spots and the constant need for Ohana. But I guess I'm just here to ramble, because that's what I do, and speak about the other side of having or not having a mother or like a parental unit, right?
Yeah.
And then I was adopted into, we'll just call them an atrocious family. So I left that one at a young age and vowed to never be like those people or the people before. And then, of course, all the years of foster care. But my one dream in life was literally to have a little girl where I could just make it different, where I could just break the cycle, start anew, and prove that with zero experience and zero direction, you could still be a fierce, fabulous, wonderful mother. And that's what I aspire to be, like, truly. I don't know if all that rambling made any sense, but
It did.
being from a closed adoption, which is much different than things go now. And I was actually adopted with my birth sister as well, which is also very rare. And adopted older. I was 4 and she was 6. So I think that a lot of my memory loss comes from probably trauma. So my brain just decided at some point, oh, guess what? We only have enough room for bright spots and anything that's crucial between here and there. You know what I mean? And so a lot of my life is just a blank slate, which is a blessing and a curse.
Right.
It can be both things. But
Sure.
I don't think that I want to say it's easy to break the cycle because it was just the thing to do, but then obviously it's not. So like, I mean, kudos, right? Like, so I'm here to speak on behalf of those of us that don't have mothers and still have become fabulous mothers and still, you know, maybe one day somebody will find Sarah Michelle. I found her, ended up finding her marriage certificate and all kinds of things. Her footprint, that's really cute. I still have no idea where she's at. So if anybody's a private investigator, hit me up. I know some stuff, but I go back and forth and I haven't looked for her in a long time. But also, can I just say it really sucks that Sarah Michelle Helvey is hard to search for. Thank you, Sarah Michelle Gellar. When I type in, I cannot filter through. No, I did not mean Sarah Michelle Gellar's to save my life. My life. Okay. I'm forever getting Buffy. I'm forever going. That is not my mom. That's not who I'm looking for. But anyway, I think it's important, you know. I think I could cry, you know. I think there are a lot of people that might even avoid a stream like this or might hide away on Mother's Day. In fact, I had spoken with a couple of slackers, you know, our Slack people, and said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not trying to have like a 2-hour trigger experience. And then something happened watching y'all where I was just like, I need to jump in this. Like, A, I'm fanning out. Y'all are my people. And B, we all have different stories. We all have different backgrounds, and they're all really important, you know?
And nobody gets educated by your experience by you not talking about your experience, you know?
Oh, I am so open book.
We can't learn from you if you don't talk about it.
Right.
But, and so I want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your perspective, because you're right. Like I'm very aware that not everybody has great parents. You know, I consider myself extremely fortunate. John, I'm sure you do too, to have to have a great mother. And like that is to be celebrated. But you know, my condolences to everyone out there who does not have that experience, because you know,
there's nothing like going to like a second grade show and tell where they required you to bring a baby picture.
Yeah, and you don't have one.
And you're like, sorry, I don't have one. or to have your, my dad was, my adoptive parents, my dad was an alcoholic and my mom just wasn't nice. So there was always still that element of, oh, father-daughter dance. This isn't going to be awkward at all. Or, so it's, yeah. Ohana, bitches.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
Okay. Well.
Oh, okay. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. And that is a huge genre or a huge umbrella of somebody passing, somebody leaving your life for a reason, somebody not being in your life for a reason. I mean, it is just, Ohana is just a huge umbrella of fabulosity. And then I could not mention a very rare movie, I think rare, called Meet the Robinsons. If you haven't seen it and you can relate to my story at all, you have to see it.
Okay.
You have to see it. And I can't talk about it without the spoiler alert, but it is a story of a boy. It's comical. It's way weirder than a regular Disney flick. It's shenanigans. It's a bunch of scientists that are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and it's ultimately a story about a boy that only wants to find his mother and return to the moment that he's separated from his mother. And I'll leave anyone to find out what that moment was, because
was there a T-Rex in this movie?
A big old T-Rex.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, somebody at least knows the movie you're talking about. I do not know it off the top of my head, but okay. Well, happy Mother's Day, Kate. Be a good mom and feed your kid, I guess. And hope to see you back again soon. So good evening. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a few more mothers on the list here, John. If you want to run through them, Kate. I'm sorry, I was just saying goodbye to Kate. Beth, if you think of a fictional mom, of another fictional mom you'd like to bring up, by all means, throw it out there. Also,
we can't end the stream without talking about Finding Dory. That's all I gotta say. Carry on.
Let's talk about Finding Dory.
No, you guys have your list. Go.
No. Let's talk about Finding Dory. I haven't seen it.
I've seen the original
a million times, but I have not seen Dory.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna call. It's too late for spoiler alerts on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, memory issues. Obviously, I have been compared in life to, by children, Dory, and by adults, Ellen DeGeneres.
Mm-hmm.
Literally adults, because comically, I'm, and with the adolescence, I'm permanently 8, but it's also enough, Otis, enough. It's also very, in the first one, Dory has a mission, and it's the friends. It's the keeping them together. It's the helping. It's the, and then the second one is another story about friends and helping each other out and the importance of just that being enough. But ultimately, in the end, the parents, spoiler alert, the parents had taught Dory almost, I want to say it had a bit of an autistic feel to it, towards the end, in that you find out that when they're before they're separated, the mom knows that Dory's gonna get lost or not find the way back home or take a right when they should have taken a left. Story of my life. And so she used seashells when Dory was still with the parents, seashells, to make sure that Dory would eventually find her way home. And in the end, it is literally the seashells that Dory finds, enough memory clicks in, and she literally follows the seashells to what's a heart shape of seashells with the home like right there. And the parents
Nice.
are still there and still waiting. And had it not been for mom, even after all those years of laying these breadcrumbs to make sure no matter what Dory got back home, then Dory never would have gotten back home, not on her own. So that's one of my all-time favorites. And being a chronic pain sufferer, just keep swimming is an ultimate daily mantra of mine.
Yeah.
Daily. You know, I do the turtle for the swimming when I'm feeling good, and I do the tortoise for the land when I'm like, oh, bros, I'll get there. I'm a little bit but so that's my Dory story. She's the best.
Your Dory story. I like it. Okay, John, we've got more people on the list than we're going to fit in.
Yeah,
So, pick the one that's most important to you.
Well, no, there are some that I want to make sure we fit in for you. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the bottom. Let's like, this was going to happen no matter what. So let's just go there.
Okay. Christian Avasarala.
Hit me with who she is again. I'm sorry. She looks familiar.
She is from The Expanse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Deputy Undersecretary of the UN, at least at the beginning of the story. And is in fact a mother. Her son has died by the beginning of the story. Her son has already passed away, but she does have a grandchild through that son, and she acts as a surrogate mother for her grandson, as well as being sort of a matriarch type character, really for Earth in the story. Yeah, exactly. Queen of Earth, badass woman, McQueen. I'm with you on all of that. I love Christian, and I love her. She's got the tough love part down too.
I just want to say, like, I was absolutely dying the other day when I saw on Twitter somebody said, everybody's like, where's the rocket gonna land? And then it said the rocket, and then it was Christian going anywhere I goddamn like. And I just love that moment from that episode, and she's so great. We've gone on in the past about her character, but like, I did not start off the show expecting to really like her that much, because she's doing stuff in the beginning of the story that we don't like to see.
Questionable.
Yeah, well, we're getting a very skewed perspective on it, and we're bringing like our real world sort of political opinions into it initially, but then as we see her develop and we see the intricacies of the story and stuff, we come to understand and really love her. She's just an absolutely phenomenal character.
Yep, totally agree. Right there with you. And I'm gonna, I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say about Avasarala. We've spoken at length. She has her own whole character study video we've done on this channel. So I am going to shift gears. I'm going to pick one. Thank you for picking Avasarala. It's a great choice. But I saw Guilty Undertaker just bring up Angela Abar from the Watchmen series, who is not a mother herself. She did not give birth to anyone, but she is a foster mother to some children, and a pretty good one. Like is constructive and tries to show them the right way in the world, and wants to foster their likes and whatnot. So, which is all things that good parents want to do. So very good call there, Eric, about Angela Abar. Fantastic mother character and from the Watchmen series that HBO put out. What was it? About a year and a half ago?
Yeah, which it's stunning. Like, I mean, if I'm not careful, I'll just go on talking about how great the show is, and I'll transform this into a Watchmen stream. But
Me too.
like,
Me too.
yeah, that show could not have been any more timely, and it's so good. And like at first, I was really bummed that they weren't going to follow it up with season 2, but now I'm kind of happy. Like, it's an incredible piece of art onto itself, and Regina King is stunning.
Yeah.
Angela Abar is just one of the best characters ever, and yeah, I don't have anything but praise.
And a badass.
Yeah, she's an absolute badass.
Yeah, because she's going to because she's a goddamn superhero in that movie too, or not movie, show.
Yeah, and she's just about to get really, really freaking powerful.
Yeah.
So
can I say something really quick? Sorry, I'm not understanding this comment situation. I'm reading them, but I'm not able to respond.
Yeah,
so,
you can't do it through StreamYard. I just realized
no worries.
No
worries.
If you pull it up like on your phone, that's the best way. But make sure you keep your phone turned down.
Yep, no worries. Alicia, I give you a high five on that. They could have been better parents, because number 1 rule, don't go where I can't see you. Okay, that was in reference to a Dory comment previously. Okay, back to the badass.
Yeah. Well, Angela Abar, bona fide badass.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, we've done streams on Watchmen. We've done 2 streams, in fact, and you wouldn't have to twist my arm to do another one, honestly. So please go check those out, because we did one that was like an overarching view of the show, and then another one that zeroed in on episode 6. Which is like one of the master classes of television.
That's the one where she's hallucinating in the past and stuff. Yeah. So good.
Okay. John, first, it would be an Outlander that I would be on with you. But I have
speaking of which,
yeah,
Claire Fraser.
I have seen enough of The Watchmen to remember and to recall, and with a few notes, I would do the damn thing with you. But I am number 1 Outlander. I have dreamed since I knew of your love for Outlander, of doing it.
Yeah, Claire Fraser is one of the just my favorite characters, and she's not a mom as the story starts off, but I mean, the show has been going on for 5 seasons, so, and with the whole time travel thing and time jumping, she now has an adult daughter in the show, of course, because just because of the nature of the show. Like in season 3, they jump forward a whole bunch of years. She's utterly fantastic. Katrina Balfe gives a spellbinding performance. I cannot recommend this series enough.
The daughter too. The actress that plays the daughter, she's phenomenal too.
Yeah, I have to say I wasn't completely sure for when she first showed up in the season 2 finale, but she has done a really remarkable job. I've been really impressed by her. But yeah, just watch Outlander.
John, was she on your list, or did you just come off with that picture? Like,
no, all the pictures were people that are on the list.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I know that from the outside, Outlander has, some people look at, especially when thinking about the books, as, quote unquote bodice ripper, sort of romance novel. But there's so much. First of all, that's just what people jump to when they see that a story is, a romance, and like, get over it. Like, romance is great. Just let it wash over you. But there's like, there's science fiction elements, fantasy, politics,
And costumes.
historical drama, costumes. It's the first 2 seasons build up to the Battle of Culloden in Scotland, and you go to a lot of different locations, and each year the show kind of feels like it's a different show because they're constantly like moving to different places and stuff, and the acting is just absolutely stunning. Katrina Balfe and Sam Heughan lead the cast, but it's also got Graham McTavish. If you've seen the Hobbit films, he was Dwalin in those, and also oh god, who else was I thinking? Tobias Menzies from both Rome and Game of Thrones. He is amazing in Outlander. He actually plays 2 roles, which are like polar opposites of each other. He gets to be, the sort of sympathetic, sort of husband, role, which makes for a really great sort of love triangle in the first couple seasons. But then on the flip side, he's also playing his ancestor, who is like the worst son of a bitch you'll ever meet. So yeah, just watch Outlander. It's great.
And I have always wanted to say this, and so like trigger alert, if you will, but as far as the bodice ripping, obviously in the show it goes further and it gets darker and there are some horrific scenes, but these are situations that have occurred in life, do occur in life, and will continue to occur in life. And the fabulous thing that this show did was take those stories, even though horrific, from a point A to a point B to a follow through, meaning you see how it affects them, you see how it impacts them. They don't keep it just to the females. It works for both genders, and I just love the way that the show allows those stories to carry through to an important aspect of any survivor, which is like, from the PTSD from I guess they take it from like a victim to a survivor, and I love how they do that. So that's off the topic of momming, but
you're not wrong.
It's a lot more than just bodice ripping.
Save it for the Outlander stream, y'all.
Oh no! Look.
Hey, I'm gonna fit it. Like, I will squeeze this in anywhere I can.
I got you. It is fine. But guys, we are in the last 10 minutes or so, so let's steer it back towards moms.
I do want to revisit Star Wars real quick. I want to mention, like, we talked about Leia, but I do want to give a shout out to Queen Amidala herself, Padme, who, like, I purposely included this still from The Phantom Menace because I feel like The Phantom Menace actually does Padme right. I'm not a fan of where where George Lucas took her character in the subsequent films, but like, she is a badass.
That is Luke Skywalker's mom.
Yeah.
With no Padme, there is no hero for Steven.
Yeah, there's no Leia either.
There's no Leia.
Both of them. Yeah. And like, she is so powerful because she's willing to, get her hands dirty and like go in and do the fighting herself. But she's also really politically savvy and once you get into the Clone Wars, she's waging a war that's different from what the Jedi are doing. She's waging it from inside the Senate. And yeah, she's just such a strong, powerful character. And like, if I had a wish, it's that like there was some kind of alternate universe, like books or something, where you could get to see that if she actually got to live and raise Luke and Leia. I'd really love to see how she would have interacted with them. But yeah, and by the way, speaking of Padme, this is just me like telling everybody what to watch and read, but like there's a couple of great books that are focused on her by E.K. Johnston. Go ahead and read those; they're great.
Yep, and fully endorsed by John Webster Books.
Yeah.
Cassie says Hera as Team Mom, puppy eyes. I will say I haven't made it that far yet. I'm assuming you're talking about Hera from Rebels.
Yeah. Did you take out some pictures, Stephen?
I've been deleting all of them that we've used so far, so that it's easier to find the ones we haven't.
Okay. You know what? I missed. I guess I forgot to include.
Yeah, you can reload one pretty easy.
One, because speaking of Hera,
yeah,
there she is.
Yes, I did not delete that. So
from Star Wars Rebels, she's great because at the end of the story, she is an actual mother, but throughout the course of the entire series, she is the mother of the Ghost crew. She's she's great. Like I obviously, in case you haven't been able to tell yet, I'm always telling everybody watch Star Wars animation. It's some of the best Star Wars out there, and Star Wars Rebels is included in that. And Hera is an absolutely fantastic character. I love the way that she interacts, not just with Kanan, obviously, but as a mother figure to Ezra and Sabine as well. She's great. Yeah, just watch the show.
Yeah. I love this like conversation going on between Potter and Alicia over spoons in the Matrix because of the brief mention of the Oracle. It's funny. I've been having a real great time following it along. But AK, I will say Potter is trying to figure out why you don't like the Oracle, and it's her spoon denialism because there is no spoon. Not that you denied anything, but that she denied the existence of spoons. Anyway, I digress.
Okay, I got to mention because I couldn't get through this without just doing one of these. This is completely like, you guys saw this coming. I'm going to throw a mention out to...
is it time to drink?
To Georgiana from The Duchess, played by, of course, Keira Knightley. She has to make some heartbreaking decisions in that film. She's a great mother because she actually sacrifices a lot for the sake of her children. She unfortunately sacrifices any chance at a happy life, and she also is forced to give up one of her children who she has out of wedlock. And Aemy, it will side with me on sobbing over that scene. It is absolutely brutal, and that's where this picture is taken from. So yeah, you guys knew that was coming. I had to get one Keira mention in there, which, by the way, she should have been nominated for an Oscar for that. Just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Christina, Aemy. That's my first shout out ever.
Yeah, I wanted to say, but you know what? Thank you, Beth. I was about to say it too. Shout out to Christina. She is the same age as Aemy, getting a PhD along with her, and has a 10-year-old daughter already. She is our superhero as well.
I have a 13-year-old. I hope she graduates by the time the child is a teenager.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
So Aemy, tell her to watch this stream, and she can fast forward to 1 hour and 53 minutes, and she will hear us say, Christina, we all think you're a superhero. Because that is not easy to do. I can do the math and understand that you had a child very young, and to continue to raise your daughter while going to school and all that is mwah. So kudos and happy Mother's Day to you. All right, I'm going to get my last pick in here. So I think I'm just going to go with this lady here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna save her for last, Stephen. I was.
Well, I think this might be last, according to my clock. We're
it's like we're running out of time. We also a quick shout out to both Olenna Tyrell from Game of Thrones and also Naomi Nagata from The Expanse. We're just running out of time, but we've got to end with the Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, I'll throw up some Naomi just to give some love because great character. And like we also had Olenna on the list, Olenna Tyrell. But let's throw it to Danny. And yeah,
I don't, y'all don't want my
apparently,
opinion because I think this is about how much we love her as a
Yeah,
mother of dragons.
I
yeah.
mean,
It's like I don't want to get into all the. Let's just.
right, right.
I just want to
Let's
focus
just
on
show
like
all love, all love.
Danny Love. But that's the thing. Like, regardless of all that other stuff, like I love Danny as a character so much. Just like from day one, and a lot of like, and I love Danny in the books as well. But Emilia Clarke's performance too.
And bro,
She,
what she got through and conquered through as
yeah,
an actress and a person to do the job is also worth mentioning.
yeah,
Yeah. I
absolutely.
mean, ooh. I mean, Amelia's a great actress, and yes, she did like really put herself out there for this role. But just Daenerys as the mother of, not just the mother of dragons, but Misa to all of the slaves that she freed is also like literally means mother. So she is a surrogate mother to tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I remember when I was the first time I read a Game of Thrones, and I started reading her character, and you even from the beginning, you're getting the sense the way the like Ned and Robert are talking about the Targaryens, and then you see uh, that you're getting this story of the Targaryens from this girl's point of view, and immediately I was like, "Ooh, this is crafty. They're setting this up so that we're caring about all of these characters, and we really care about this young girl who's going to, you know." At that time, I had thought potentially, but yes, obviously, coming to be at odds with the other main characters who we also are coming to care for, and it's this great thing that George does of garnering your sympathies to these different characters and different families, and
And
yeah, it's just, and she was so like you so instantly like felt for her and sympathized for the situation that she was in, and I just, as the story progressed, I just came to love her more and more and more.
The
yeah,
true story about the show for me is I watched the first episode, right? Where is it Drogon, right? And they have their scene, and I'm like, is she 12 or is she 16? Like, I'm not really sure about this. I don't know if this is for me. Like, I don't want a show of this. And then my husband, knowing me so well, just had to keep trying and trying and trying to convince me that is not the show. That is not her. This is not what it's building to be. Like, you have got to get past the beginning and please do this. And eventually I did, and he
yeah,
was mad I did it really late, but I did it.
yeah. It was a
I'm
place
glad
for
I
her
did.
to start from, and a lot of characters in Game of Thrones are like that. Like Sansa, my favorite character. I know, controversial. Disagree if you like, but and God, is she annoying in the early part of the story. But that's a place for her to begin from, and a place for her to grow from. But I will say this too: like she locked up. This is talking about Danny. She locked up her children because they wanted a snack. Like I get the sort of like jokey take on Danny being not a good mom because she chained up her children in the basement for eating when they weren't supposed to. But like
But she was protecting them from
she was
an awful.
protecting. And the thing is, a good mom or dad will put limitations on their children when their children are doing things that are harmful to themselves or others. So, like, you can,
And dragons aren't regular kids.
right,
They're
and
fierce beasts.
I
So
appreciate the joke for what it is, but like, even I can I can deconstruct it. Even like, even if they were human children who had murdered a person, burned another kid to death, putting them on restriction or grounding them or putting them in timeout is not a bad parenting move. Just saying.
also not an effective enough one if we're talking murder. And I mean, But yeah,
Yeah. So
mothering is all about unconditional love.
right. That's what it should be about.
I mean, being a child of no family, the one missing element in my life was unconditional love. And when I finally found that, and when I finally built my own family of that, that's magic. Magic.
Yeah, totally
So if
agree.
you've got a mom and she is unconditionally loving of you, towards you, for you, go kiss her right now if you can, because as long as she's been vaccinated. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, show your mom some love. Show your mother the love she deserves. Let's just put it that way. Because if you got a crappy mom, maybe she doesn't deserve the love. Deserve for you to show her unconditional love, because parents owe more to their children than children owe to their parents in that way, because they're older. That's anyway. That's all. Look, I just bit off a whole big chunk of something, and I want to backtrack and just say, you know what? Let's end it there, shall we?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
And family is what you make it and who you make it. And I found that in you guys, and I'm forever grateful. So.
Yes, thank you, Cassie. Kiss the person who played the role of good mom in your life.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay. Self-taught moms, don't they get the love?
Yeah, they do. You get double the love because you didn't have somebody to help show you the way.
That's right.
But yeah, so I think we're going to call it there, though. So I want to say thanks to everybody who was here live. That was great. I'm going to go ahead and let Potter have his last moment of trolling. Mrs. Bates, the ultimate fictional mom, always there for Norman. Yeah. I mean, as a decomposing corpse, but she was there. But yeah, so thanks everyone who was here to watch live. We really, really, really appreciate everyone who is here live. We also appreciate anyone who watches later. We know not everybody can make it to these live, and especially it being Mother's Day here in the United States. Maybe you're hanging out with your mom while this is live, and I wouldn't begrudge you that, especially not today. But yeah, so thanks for that. If you haven't hit the like and you're not subscribed, do those things. I'd really appreciate it. And then come back next week. We'll be talking about season 4 of the Clone Wars. John, you're up. What's next?
I'm just really psyched now that we're jumping so quickly back into Clone Wars. Like, yeah. Next week, Aemy and I will be talking about The Little Mermaid with Kate and Bronte. So come and check that out. And then the week after that, we'll be celebrating Amy's birthday by diving into Mulan, which is a movie she kind of likes.
Aren't those both a little bloop the patriarchy-ish, though? But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, they're talking about film, not patriarchy. There's no patriarchy in those movies.
No, not at all.
Not even a little.
Well, it'll be interesting because I wonder how, because I know that, like, obviously, like, Bronte loves that movie. So I'm anxious to see the back and forth between the two of them, as if Aemy is going to really drive home the patriarchy stuff, and if Bronte's going to be like, but I love this movie, which is like where I'm coming from. I know there's issues with it, but the music, the characters, I love it.
I'm here for it. It's why I dyed my hair red. Hello, Ariel.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, I also want to mention tomorrow I'm going to be on Amy's channel with a couple other people. I believe it'll be Micah, Lowe, Yodi, and myself. I believe that it's basically going to be all her previous Buddy Banter guests, and we're going to be on there talking about our favorite TV shows from when we were teens. So I'm going to be going on about what was my favorite show when I was a teenager, which was Highlander, the series. I'm going to be going on and on about that, as well as also Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel.
So
and they'll
no
be talking
Punky,
about
no Punky Brewster, no
They-
Al,
They
no.
were, no.
that was
Those were already gone by the time John was a teen.
yeah. But looking at like the stuff that everybody else on that stream has compiled, I'm still feeling like an old geezer on for that stream. So yeah, I'll be the one on there going back in my day. And then there'll be people in the chat saying, "Shut up, John." But yeah, we're gonna have a whole bunch of fun doing that. So be sure to check that out. That's at 2:00 Eastern tomorrow.
Yeah, cool. So
If I can say one thing, it's
absolutely.
Everybody go find a bright spot. There's one in every day. Even in the darkest of days, there's a bright spot to be found. So look for them.
Preach, sister, preach. They're out there. All right. Well, I guess that's it. I don't have anything else. John, it sounds like you were done. Beth,
Yep.
Thank you for the positivity spread at the very end here. So I guess with that, we'll just say we'll see you guys back here next week. And until then, you know what it is. Peace and Zemo dance.